Hey, it's Norman with iSaveTractors. In this video, we're going to be installing a 3-point hitch onto this Ford LGT 145. Check it out. Here we go. Now, here are the Category 0 3-point hitch parts. I purchased these from a customer of ours, iSaveTractors.com. This customer from Texas was kind enough to sell those to me, and I'm going to be putting it on this 1974 Ford LGT 145. That is a quick-way front-end loader that I've mounted on this. Let's get started. Okay, we begin by first removing the previous hitch that was on this tractor. This was a homemade sleeve-style hitch that the previous owner of this tractor made. For the last couple of years, I didn't use it as a sleeve hitch. I mounted these chains, as you can see, to permanently hold it up. And then I put about 300 pounds of concrete blocks on the back of this tractor. That provided a nice counterweight for all the really heavy stuff I was putting in the front-end loader. If you look in some of my earliest videos, I did have a York rake on the back of this tractor at a time, but over the past couple of years, I really needed that front-end loader to lift heavy stuff. But now that I'm putting in the 3-point hitch, it should make a matter of changing between ballast and rear implements much, much easier. This right here, the part I'm installing now, is the top rock shaft for the 3-point hitch. So what this does is it transfers the movement of the hydraulic ram in the middle of the tractor. The hydraulic ram pulls a long rod, and then that long rod pulls a lever on the top of this rock shaft, which then rotates these lift arms up and down. And that's what will pick up the lower arms of the 3-point hitch. Love you, hun. Now I'm trying to figure out how to install this long arm that connects the hydraulic ram to the 3-point hitch rock shaft. I'm trying to figure out if I can get this rod into the necessary holes and slots without taking more of the tractor apart. Spoiler alert, I do figure out how to get it in without taking more apart. Okay, this is how I have the linkage set up. It's connected to this slot here, which allows the 3-point hitch to float. And that is connected all the way to the front rock shaft that is operated by the hydraulic cylinder in the middle of the tractor. Now, this is a Category 0 3-point hitch. This is the smallest standard for 3-point hitch dimensions. What Category 0 means is all the attachments that I'll attach to this needs to have a 20-inch wide attachment point. So the two lift pins on your box blade, your rake, or whatever you're going to put on it needs to be 20 inches wide. Okay, so here's what the 3-point hitch looks like installed with a rear Reese hitch adapter installed. Now, before we use this and go any further, there's more work to do. Let's reconnect the battery, kind of install the rest of this tractor that I had to take off. Now, by the way, this is kind of part 2 continuation of the previous video I published, which was a Ford LGT steering repair video. In order to repair the steering, I had to take a bunch of stuff out. So let's cut to putting everything back together, and then we'll come back to more work on this 3-point hitch. Okay, now I'm going to test this 3-point hitch and its ability to lift weight. In a moment, you're going to see it does not meet my expectations, and then we're going to fix that. Okay, so what you just saw was the 3-point hitch had a great range of motion, but it could not successfully pick up these 4 suitcase weights. Now, these 4 suitcase weights are 42 pounds each, which makes it a total of 168 pounds plus, the weight of the hitch itself. So this 3-point hitch should be able to lift more than that. So I'm not very happy that it can't. That whining sound you heard when I was trying to lift it up was the pressure relief valve in the relief system of the hydraulic lift. So this should be able to lift it, and this is how I'm going to correct it. What I'm going to correct it is the lever that the rock shaft uses to transfer the motion between the hydraulic ram and the 3-point hitch. I put it in that slotted section to accommodate a float function, but there is a hole higher than that, and I'm going to try to connect my linkages to that hole in the higher part of the lever. You'll see in a moment. What this will do is it will give me a greater mechanical advantage, so I don't need to mess with the hydraulic pressures or any of that. All I have to do is adjust the geometry in the way these parts interact. Now, this is a key point because I have a lot of customers who reach out to me with questions on how to improve tractors or how to install this. Tractors is very simple science. Really, it comes down to a little bit of physics with the internal combustion engine, a little bit of physics with the hydraulics, but for the rest of it, it's all pretty simple geometry. What we're playing with is leverage, and that's what I'm going to try to improve the leverage to improve the lift amount, and you'll see that right now. Okay, so here is the lever I was talking about. This is the end of the rock shaft that connects the 3-point hitch to the hydraulic ram in the middle of the tractor. I put the link in the slotted area you see there. Now you see the slotted cut. That's closer to the pivoting rock shaft. I'm now going to try to move it to that hole at the very end, which is further away from that pivoting rock shaft. Now, what I gain out of moving the link further away from that pivot point is it's going to give this whole rock shaft more leverage and more strength to pull the weight of whatever I have on there up. Now, the problem is I'm not even 100% sure if this hole was designed to be used for this or if maybe the little linkage bar that I have is not correct. In any case, the hole's not big enough. So I need to drill it out bigger to a 5/8 inch hole and then install the linkages and deal with any problems that might come as a result of doing that. Now let's check the range of motion of the 3-point hitch now. Okay, so now I've figured out I've got to cut out a piece out of this rear fender. There's a little knockout area on the back of this fender that's a little triangular shaped. That is meant to give your top link a little bit more room to raise this higher. You can kind of see it between my two empty headlight holes, that little triangle thing that's kind of knocked in. I'm going to use an angle grinder to cut that triangle out, and then we'll run our test again. Range of motion is good. Now let's put a bunch of 42-pound suitcase weights on this and see how much it can lift now with a simple change in geometry. As you can see, it did not take much alteration to this 3-point hitch to make it lift all 6 of these 42-pound suitcase weights. That is a total of 252 pounds in suitcase weights plus the weight of the hitch, all by simply moving that link. It looked like maybe 3 inches higher, and that's all it took to get this going. Now that this is finished, this test is done, there are some issues with those lower lift arms that I'm going to correct right now. The lower lift arms is just a hole, looks like cut out by an oxyacetylene torch, but they need an actual ball socket, and that's what I'm going to put here. Okay, folks, that concludes this 1974 Ford LGT 145 project. In the video I published before this one, you watched me repair the broken steering column on this tractor, and in this video you watched me install a 3-point hitch, as well as put the tractor back together and modify the hitch to better fit my needs. Don't forget, iSaveTractors.com is also a parts development company. We develop and sell the best aftermarket parts for your vintage cast iron small engines like the Kohler K 321 that is mounted on this Ford tractor. We also do parts for the Tecumseh, Briggs and Stratton, Onan, and Wisconsin cast iron engines. Please check us out online at iSaveTractors.com.